You crack open your shell buried somewhere beneath the sand, and the first thing you need to understand is this: only 1 in 1,000 of you will survive to adulthood. Some researchers put that number even lower at 1 in 10,000, and a few studies suggest it might be as dire as 1 in 100,000. Those aren't great odds, and your survival depends on things you have absolutely no control over. The journey starts weeks before you hatch when your mother dragged herself up the beach in the middle of the night and dug a hole shaped like an upside-down light bulb, more than a foot deep into the sand. She spent 1 to 3 hours digging that nest and laying anywhere from 50 to 200 soft-shelled eggs depending on her species, and then she buried you and left. She'll do this 2 to 7 times during nesting season between May and October, waiting about a week offshore between each clutch, but she'll never come back to check on you. Now, you're stuck underground with dozens of siblings, and the temperature of the sand around you is deciding whether you'll be male or female, because sea turtles don't have sex chromosomes. If the sand stays below 27.7 degrees Celsius, you'll be male. Above 31 degrees Celsius, you'll be female. Anything between those temperatures gives you a mix of both. Your mother dug deep enough to try and keep things stable, somewhere between 47 and 82 centimeters depending on her species, but she can't control heat waves or cold snaps, and neither can you. The incubation period lasts somewhere between 5 and 6 weeks, though some species take as long as 75 days. During that time, your nest might get dug up by raccoons, wild boars, or ghost crabs looking for an easy meal. Fire ants can invade the nest and kill hatchlings before they even break through the shell. If your nest gets disturbed by predators or humans, your chances of hatching drop to 25% or lower. Even in undisturbed nests, only around 5% of eggs laid actually survive to hatch under natural conditions, though that number can jump above 90% if everything goes right. When you finally break through your shell, you don't leave right away. You wait underground with your siblings until most of the eggs have hatched, and then you all erupt together from the sand in a coordinated breakout that usually happens at night. That timing matters because the sand is cooler and predators are slightly less active, but it's still not safe. The moment you surface, the clock starts ticking. You're somewhere between 1 and 3 inches long depending on your species, weighing maybe 1 to 2 ounces, and your flippers are built for swimming, not crawling. You need to reach the ocean as fast as possible, but first you need to figure out which direction that is. Your eyes are drawn to the lowest angle of elevation on the horizon, which under natural conditions would be the open expanse of water reflecting moonlight and starlight. That's your compass, and it's supposed to guide you straight to the waves. But here's where things get catastrophic. Hotels, condos, highways, and streetlights line the beaches now, and to a hatchling, those artificial lights appear overwhelmingly bright compared to the dim glow of the ocean. Your instincts tell you to crawl toward the brightest thing you see, so instead of heading to the water, you head inland toward parking lots and roads. Scientists estimate that as many as 30% of all Florida hatchlings have died from light disorientation in recent years. Some of you wander in circles until you collapse from exhaustion or dehydration. Others get crushed by cars or picked off by predators while you're confused and exposed. It's not uncommon to find dead hatchlings in condo parking lots the morning after a nest erupts. Even if you make it to the water, the danger doesn't stop. The crawl from nest to surf is brutal, and during that short journey, you're completely exposed. Ghost crabs wait on the beach and drag hatchlings into their burrows. Birds circle overhead and dive down to snatch you up before you reach the waves. Raccoons, foxes, and alligators patrol the shoreline looking for easy targets. One study on Florida's East Coast tracked loggerhead hatchlings and found that nest-to-surf mortality was significant, with predators and disorientation accounting for most deaths. Once you hit the water, you don't stop swimming. You need to reach the Gulf Stream and the floating seaweed nurseries offshore, and that means swimming continuously for 24 to 36 hours without rest. Your tiny flippers beat nonstop while fish and sharks circle below, and you have no defenses except speed and the hope that something else looks like an easier meal. You're exhausted. You haven't eaten since you absorbed the last of your egg yolk, and you're still weeks away from being strong enough to fend for yourself. If you make it to the seaweed mats, you'll spend the next 10 years of your life there, growing slowly and learning how to survive in open water. But even then, the threats don't go away. Sharks, especially tiger sharks, hunt juvenile sea turtles. Killer whales target leatherbacks. Large fish, crocodiles, and even the occasional octopus will eat you if they get the chance. Every day is another test, and most of you won't pass. On top of all that, humans are making things worse in ways you can't adapt to. Coastal development destroys nesting beaches and makes it harder for future generations to find safe places to lay eggs. Boats and swimmers tear up seagrass beds, which are a major food source for species like green sea turtles. Fishers poach adults for their shells and meat, and illegal egg harvesting means clutches get stolen before they even have a chance to incubate. Plastic waste, fishing nets, and pollution add even more obstacles to an already impossible journey. Conservation groups have started fighting back. In 2010, the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation launched a $1 million project to retrofit lights along more than 7 miles of prime nesting habitat on Florida beaches. They've been replacing bright, disorienting lights with dimmer amber lights that point downward instead of toward the sand, and early results show fewer hatchlings getting lost. Protected nesting areas with limited human access have pushed hatching success rates above 90% in some locations, proving that when nests are left alone, survival improves dramatically. But even with all that help, the odds are still stacked against you. You'll spend your entire childhood dodging predators, navigating human interference, and hoping the temperature was right when your mother laid your egg so there are enough males and females in your generation to keep the species going. And if you survive all of that, if you make it through the gauntlet of crabs and birds and lights and sharks and boats, you'll finally reach adulthood after 10 to 15 years. Then you'll drag yourself up onto the same beach where you hatched, dig your own nest, and leave your offspring to face the exact same nightmare you just survived. Being born as a sea turtle hatchling means the deck is stacked against you from the moment your mother buried your egg in the sand. 1 in 1,000 might sound dramatic, but when you factor in nest predators, disorientation, beach predators, ocean predators, and human activity, that number starts to make sense. You get 1 shot at the crawl to the ocean, 1 chance to swim far enough offshore, and 1 hope that nothing notices you before you disappear into the seaweed. Most hatchlings don't make it, and the ones that do spend the rest of their lives proving they deserve to survive.